Hello students, welcome to the first English class. I am Roopna Ravindran, Assistant Professor of English, Government Degree College, Chevalla in Rangareddy district of Telangana. So today let's discuss about learning English language skills. As an introduction to the whole course, let us discuss about English language skills. English language is not restricted to communication skills alone. You might have heard about lot of communication skills classes offered by various institutions, and you might have seen a lot of boards about spoken English classes also. Treat English as a language and not as a subject. So that is the first step of learning English. You have other 3 subjects to learn for your undergraduate courses, but English and Telugu or other mother tongue that you learn are languages. They are not subjects that you learn and write for the exam. So consider those as languages that you will be using for your whole lifetime. English language has thousands of years of history associated with it. So as you are not an English literature student as such, you don't have to go through the history as such. But in the later courses, in the later semesters and all, you have to learn a little about the history. You will come to know from which all languages English has developed and all. English, as you know, is an international language. It has enriched a wide range of vocabulary influenced by Germanic, Romance, Anglo-Saxon and many other languages. Even in India, English came after British colonialization. So British went and colonized many places. So from those places, English occupied many words into its vocabulary. And in those places, people started speaking and writing and using English language as such. So English language is also influenced by regional languages like Hindi, Urdu, etc. It is very easy to learn English language in the modern world. You don't have to worry about learning English language as such. If you are tech savvy, or if you are very comfortable with internet, using websites, apps and all, you have a variety of websites and apps available in the internet. The only thing you need to have is the willpower, the determination to learn. When you start learning now from your undergraduate course, you have to unlearn many things as well. You might have learned English with the support of your mother tongue in your school. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll reduce the amount of use of your mother tongue, and then let us try to think and understand in English without the support of your mother tongue, L2, mother tongue. Okay, in the modern world, overemphasis is given to speaking skills. So in the beginning itself, I have already said that you might have already seen so many spoken English classes everywhere on the roadside. Okay, that means people are giving lot of emphasis, lot of importance to speaking skills. Actually, it is not like that. All skills are important. So in any language, for effective communication, we need 4 skills. These 4 skills come as a package. They are always together. Without one skill, another skill cannot work. So we need to try to understand that language skills are more than communication. Let us go to the first slide. it is something more than communication. You have to understand the cultural connotations of the language. Actually, this language came from Britishers, but now we don't treat English as a foreign language. It is the second official language of governance even. So it is no more a foreign language for us. So we need to be aware of the cultural differences associated with English. In every particular region, they have their own attitudes, their own values, and these differ from place to place. But in every place, in most of the places, you find English. People use English. Now, let us discuss the language skills. There are 4 language skills basically. They are LSRW. We call them LSRW. So what is L? L is listening skill, and S is speaking skill, and R is reading skill, and what is the last one? W, writing skill. So when you imagine how you learnt your mother tongue, so even from your mother's womb, you have been listening to your mother's talk. That is in your mother tongue. So you have been listening to your mother tongue even before you were born. Then after you were born, you started listening to the language again, and you started responding in small sounds, blah blah sounds. Okay, and after a certain age you started speaking. So the second skill that automatically came to you in your mother tongue is speaking. And after that, when you started your schooling, you started reading books. You read stories, you read story books and all. And the last skill that you attained in your mother tongue is writing. So that is the specific order in which you have to acquire skills in a language. So that was in a correct way in your mother tongue, but it should be correct in your English language skill acquisition also. But what happens generally? We don't listen to English much because we don't have an environment enriched with English. We are not surrounded with English. We don't hear, we don't listen to English news. We don't listen to people talking in English. We have our own mother tongue as a medium of instruction. Most of us have. That is not a problem at all. But we are not acquainted to listening to English. And what is the second skill? Second skill is speaking skill. So we don't speak in English at all. What do? We just read. We just read the text or the secondary material and we write. So are we writing on our own? Are we writing our own sentences in English? No, we are not even doing that. What are we doing? We are just rote memorizing whatever is given by the teacher or by the secondary material, and we are just reproducing it in writing. So that is not how we learn a language. So if we follow that memorization technique and reproduction in writing, then we will become a failure in language learning. So that is not the right method. So what we have to do? We have to try improve our LSRW skills in order. So we'll discuss each skill one after the other. And I have added another skill to it, that is the thinking skill. So thinking skill is also very essential to learn a language. So only if you think in a particular language, you will be able to reproduce it, or you will be able to produce it in the same language. What happens to us? We think in our own mother tongue and then we write it in another language, that is in English language. So what happens? The sentences will not be in proper order. Our mother tongue follows another order and English follows another structure of sentences. So everything becomes a confusion for you, and what happens in the end? You develop a kind of fear for English language. So that is not necessary at all, because your mother tongue may be one of the toughest language, and you write it so easily, you speak very well in that language. So for such a student it will not be very difficult to learn English. So if you are not that well versed in your mother tongue, if you are not able to write properly in your mother tongue, so the same kind of problems may reflect in your learning of English language as well. So in that case you have to improve both the languages. So when we learn the language, when we learn English language, we have to learn all these LSRW techniques, and we have to go beyond this LSRW techniques as well. We have to understand the linguistic connotations, we have to understand the social connotations, we have to understand the cultural connotations of this particular language and its usage. Okay. So when we use a language, mere fluency is not important. People can speak fluently. You might have heard lot of speeches, public speeches. Okay. So certain people speak fluently, very fluently, but when you search the whole 1 hour speech, you will get rarely 1 or 2 important points from that speech. So that should not be the case. Okay, you need to have content. So you need to have subject knowledge in which you want to speak or in which you want to write. For that, what you have to do? For that, you have to read and gain knowledge. So if you start practicing all these skills, activities in all these skills, then automatically you will become fluent in the skills of language. So let us go to the next slide. Of the 4 skills, listening skill is far the most frequently used. So which skill is very frequently used? Listening skill is very frequently used. Adults spend 70% of their time listening, it seems. So we don't engage in other skills for such a long period of time. All the other skills put together will be only 30% of your time. What is listening actually? Why do we listen? Listening is the ability to accurately receive and interpret messages in the communication process. So you are getting involved in a communication process. You are talking to a person, another person is responding to you. So when they respond, you are listening. Otherwise, you are watching a news telecast in the television, you are listening to it. So what is happening here? Why are you listening? You are listening to obtain information. You want to get some information, and you have to understand things, and from this understanding you gain knowledge. That is how you gain content knowledge. Understood? Next, we listen for enjoyment also. I hope some of your hobbies may be listening to music. You enjoy listening to music. So why are you listening there? Why are you listening to music? You are listening for enjoyment, and you listen to learn also. When do you listen to learn? When you are in a classroom, when the teacher is delivering a lecture, then you listen to learn. So that is also very important. So listening is a receptive skill. There are 2 kinds of skills. There are receptive skills and productive skill. Okay. So listening and reading are classified as receptive skills. Receptive is a passive skill. That is, your output is not seen. People do not know how much knowledge you have acquired through listening and reading. whereas in productive skills they get direct response from you. For example, speaking and writing are known as productive skills. They give an output, a direct output. When you speak, the other person get to listen what you are speaking. So if there are mistakes in your speech, obviously the other person will point out. That is, it is visible. Okay, what you speak is visible to the other person, is audible to the other person, and he or she will give you a feedback about that. So that kind of skills where you get feedback are called a productive skill. But listening, nobody knows what you are listening. Okay, unless they also listen, they get to know what you are listening. So that kinds of skills are called receptive skills. I hope you are clear about the difference of receptive and productive skill. Next, to develop listening skills, then you have to engage in some listening comprehension activities. There are different websites which gives you listening comprehension activities. You will have to listen to a video, and after listening to a video you will have to answer certain questions. That is to understand the level of your comprehension and how effective your listening is. So your listening should be effective. Your listening should be purpose oriented. It should be an active listening. You should avoid distractions and preconceptions when you listen. You should not have judgments before you go and listen to something. Okay. And you have to avoid the external noises, internal disturbances, everything. Okay, and then plainly listen to what you are listening to. Then after listening, what you have to do? You have to understand the main idea in English. Okay, rather than translating into your mother tongue, it is better that you try to understand in the same language. There is no need to translate it again and again. And you have to critically assess what is said. You have to judge what is said. And you can observe the non-verbal signals also. So when people speak, they use their hand movements, they use gestures, okay, they walk. So all these shows their confidence and their way of expression. So you can observe these non-verbal signals also while you are listening. And when you are listening, you have to show concern and concentration. You should be interested in listening. Nobody can force you and make you listen. Imagine in class, 50% of the students will be listening, another 50 students will not be listening. We teachers can understand that your body is present and the mind is absent. So that kind of listening is not active listening. Okay, when you are actively listening, you respond appropriately. When the teacher asks questions, immediately you respond, or you take time and respond. Everything is fine. And at the end of the lecture, you tend to ask open-ended questions also. So these are all symbols of active listening. Now, what is the difference between listening and hearing? Are they same? No. Listening is purposeful. Listening is to understand, is to comprehend information. But hearing, you just hear sounds. You hear the dog barking. You hear the horn of vehicles. You hear the horn of a bus. Okay? You hear the cooker whistle. All these are hearing. You are not trying to understand some meaning out of that sounds. That is wrong. Okay? So, you are listening for information, then you are listening to understand, you are listening to learn. Okay? So, listening skill is one of the most important skills of language. So, only if you have good listening skills, you can develop the other skills. Okay? I hope I'm clear for you. Next is speaking skills. There is a lot of importance given to speaking skills, but that is not necessary. You have to give equal importance to all the skills. Only if you give equal importance and start practicing each and every skill, then speaking also will come to you automatically. Speaking is a productive skill. It is not a receptive skill, because you are speaking, something is coming out of you. There is an output. Okay. So if you listen, you will be able to frame sentences, because these sentences are automatically captured into your brain when you are listening. So some sentences are unconsciously captured and some sentences are consciously captured. Now, to develop the speaking skills, what you have to do? You have to start speaking English. Otherwise, there is no way. You cannot just learn from books and start speaking. To swim, to drive, can you read books? No, you cannot read books and learn swimming or driving. Similar is the case with speaking also. Start speaking English at home. Start speaking it with your friends. You can talk to yourself as well. You can go before the camera, stand before the camera, or you stand before the mirror at least and talk to yourself. You imagine that you are giving a speech to your friends, and then you do it before the mirror, or you record it in your mobile phone and then listen to it. So you can understand where all you have gone wrong, and next time when you record, you can make changes. So when you speak, you be little slow and clear. You have to be a little slow, and then you have to be clear as well. So in order to have a good language, you have to expand your vocabulary and pronunciation. In order to speak well in English language, you have to develop your vocabulary. You have to have lots of words within you in order to talk. And then your pronunciation should be legible. Everybody should be able to understand what you are speaking. So when you read, you automatically capture some vocabulary, and you will be using some vocabulary every now and then, some simple words or some words that you are comfortable with. Those kinds of vocabulary are called intrinsic vocabulary. Those vocabulary are already there in you. But along with that, you have to learn new words as well. So these new words come from outside. So those vocabulary or those new words are called extrinsic vocabulary. When you read a story in your textbook, at the end of the story, you will be given a glossary. So from that glossary, you learn new words and their meanings. So you are extrinsically building your vocabulary. When you read the newspaper, you underline the difficult words. You underline the words you do not understand, and then go and check it in the dictionary, Oxford Dictionary. Or you can even use a bilingual dictionary. So that will help you build your vocabulary consciously. Okay, and to develop your speaking skills, you can narrate incidents that happen, narrate stories. So all these gives you avenues to speak. You have to initiate, you have to sustain and bring closure to your communication. You have to begin a conversation, you have to develop the conversation, you should be able to sustain the conversation for some time. Conversation should not end in 1 minute, it should sustain for some time. So you should have that capability to sustain the conversation, and you should be able to close the conversation amicably as well, friendly as well. So be positive to criticism. As it is a productive skill, you will be given feedback by the listener. So you have to be open to criticism, and you should make changes, required changes in your speaking style. Next one is reading skill. Reading is also an essential skill for language learners. So far we have covered two skills, one receptive skill and one productive skill. Now you have reading skill, that is again a receptive skill. That is only up to you. You are not giving it to somebody else. If you are giving it to somebody else, if there is an output, then it is called productive skill. So what you have to do to build a vocabulary, to understand things, to gain knowledge, to develop content knowledge, you have to read regularly. There is no other way. So if you have to gain vocabulary in English language, you have to read regularly in English. Anything and everything. There is no problem at all. And when you read, that experience itself will be pleasurable. It can be entertaining and it can be educational also. If you read general knowledge books, then it is educational. And it can open up to the new world. We might not have gone to America, but if you read something about America, we get knowledge about that place. Okay, so it opens up new world for us. When your reading skills improve, automatically your listening, your speaking and your writing skills also improve. So all these are like a package. In supermarket, you might have seen 4 soaps attached in a bundle. You cannot buy one soap. If you buy, you have to buy all the 4 soaps. So similarly, here also, if you are adamant about learning English language skills, then you cannot learn one skill as such. You have to learn all the 4 skills. That is why I told no overemphasis should be given to speaking skills. The constant repetition of words and patterns in reading helps you learn and remember vocabulary and grammatical structures. So the more you read, the more your language improves. Language in the sense your vocabulary improves, your grammatical structure improves, the style of your writing also improves. So everything should be a reading material for you. There is no specific textbook or a specific book that you have to read. You have to read everything available, every worthy book available, every standard newspaper available, every standard online news article available. You have to read letters, subtitles of films, short stories, poetry, fiction, non-fiction, even jokes, cartoons, proverbs, everything gives you information. You can even read the recipe of making cake. So from there you get some information. There you get different kinds of words that you don't use normally. You can read advertisement, brochure. When you go, when you travel in a bus, you see a hoarding, a big board, an advertisement. So read that. Read what is written over there. You can read the circular. You can read the brochure. Okay, there are different types of reading. 4 main types of reading are scanning, skimming, intensive reading and extensive reading. So scanning is very quick form of reading. It is only to find information that you are searching for. So just before the exam, you take your notebook and you forgot something. So you have to need that particular information. And you are particularly searching for that information and you are reading very quickly. So that kind of reading is called scanning. The second type of reading is skimming. Skimming is also called gist reading. You read the main points in main points of a news. Okay. So when you read the news, some people read only headlines and the first paragraph. Some from that they will get an idea about the news. So and they will memorize that. That will be automatically captured in their mind. So that kind of reading is called skimming. Next is intensive reading. Intensive is you look inside the text. the kind of reading that you do in your classroom. Okay, you identify key vocabulary. So you will have a short story, and after the short story you will be given glossary, you will be given reading comprehension. So that kind of reading is called intensive reading. And the fourth one is extensive reading. That is the best kind of reading, and you read for information and you read for pleasure also. You love reading. Many people have their hobby as reading. Okay, so they read for the pleasure and they feel the happiness in gaining knowledge. So there is no limit for them. They don't consider any limit. I'll read for 10 minutes today, 15 minutes for tomorrow. There is no particular schedule in reading as such. So they love reading. So for the love of reading, they read a lot of books, they read newspaper, they read whatever is available to them in English language. So last I've written there reading comprehension. So for every competitive examination, you will get reading comprehension question. You will be given a passage, and based on the passage, you will be given 5 or 6 questions. So only when you comprehend the passage, or only when you understand the passage, read and understand the passage, you will be able to answer the questions. So that is the purpose of reading comprehension. Now there are something like this also, reading the lines. You read only the lines and you get only the information that is written there. Okay, so in reading comprehension, you will have direct question from the passage. What you have to do? You have to find the answer, just that line, and then copy paste from the answer. Okay, then you have to read between the lines. Between the lines in means lines in the sense you make meaning out of the silences. So the writer might have used a pause in between. So you have to understand why he used that pause. That kind of reading is called reading between the lines. So he might have used that pause to show the speaker's mental block. Okay, so that kind of answers should be there in reading comprehension answers also. Okay, then there is something called reading beyond the lines. That is, you have to go beyond the passage given, and then you have to think, you have to relate to things and then answer. In general, they ask you what is your opinion on that. Then you don't have to stick particularly on the passage given, but you have to go outside, then relate to many other things and then answer. So these are also important. So when you start reading, you understand all these on your own. First, when you read only the lines. You read only what is written there. When you read a lot, then you start reading between the lines, and you know where you have to skip. Everything you understand. And when you become a voracious reader, when you become a great reader, then you start reading beyond the lines also. So if you are going for a UPSC exam, they ask questions to infer from the passage, to deduce meaning from the passage. So all these depends upon how much you read. So practice regular reading. That is very important. Which is the last skill? Writing skill. Writing skill is one of the fundamental parts of English language among other skills. It is also a productive skill because your output is seen to the reader. You have to focus on vocabulary, spelling, sentence structures. You have to be mindful about the sentence structure. The correct word order should be there. Then you have to improve your grammar also. Use it appropriately. You have to practice writing, write on a variety of topics and significant precision and detail. You cannot go in a roundabout way and then write. If the teacher asks to write about a cow, you have to write only about the cow. You cannot tell that the cow gives us milk. There are different types of milk available in the market. I like Amul milk. Amul chocolate is also good. You cannot go and write about different things like that. You have to stick on the particular topic. You have to stick on the topic cow, and then you have to write about cow itself. Cow is a domestic animal. Similar sentences you have to add in the paragraph or the essay given. So you have to learn to write paragraphs, essays, letters, reports, reviews, etc. So we have practice sessions of all these in the semester, in first semester, second semester, and if when you complete the fourth semesters, you might have practiced all these things. Next one. This is one additional skill that I have added along with the 4 skills, that is critical thinking skills. Critical thinking is the ability to think clearly and rationally, understanding the logic connection between the ideas. So you can't just read and understand what is written there. Okay, you have to use your brain as well. You have to use your critical thinking abilities as well. You have to make judgments after reading. You have to solve problems. So you have to develop your problem solving ability and all that. Critical thinking requires you to use the ability to reason. You cannot just read and memorize what is written there. You have to ask questions. You have to ask what is happening. Why is this important? Is there anything missing? Who is talking? Why is he saying that? What else can I do about that? What if not? So you have to ask lot of questions, and then only you start thinking on your own and create your own perspective about something. So thinking is very much important. Thinking in English language is important. It is not just memorizing. It is not rote memorization at all. It is not group thinking. What your friends say, I also agree with that. That is not the policy. You have to have your own individual opinion, and you should not blindly accept the authority. You have to judge whatever he or she is saying, and you have to go along with your perspective, with your point of view. So, this critical thinking encourages active learning by teaching students how to think. You have to learn how to think and not what to think. What to think, what to write, if I say, then your brain will be at rest. So, that is not what we are going to do. You have to read, you have to summarize, you have to paraphrase, and then you gather information, you analyze, and then you write. So, your brain is working there. If you are only memorizing, if you are only rote memorizing, and that it becomes a habit. You don't gain anything from it. After the examination, you forget everything that you learned. So that is not what is required. Then you have to develop your inquiry skills, that is asking questions, your reasoning skills. Why is it like that? Okay, those kinds of things comes in reasoning. Then you have to generate ideas. You have to brainstorm and then get your own ideas. You have to engage in challenging tasks to develop your critical thinkings. For this paper 1 of many of the competitive tests, you might be having aptitude and reasoning exams. So for that aptitude and reasoning competitive exam, you will be having questions from reasoning, logical reasoning, arithmetic reasoning, verbal reasoning. So this verbal ability is related to English language. They will be using things from English language, but you have to brainstorm, you have to use your reasoning power and then answer. For example, coding, decoding and all that you have in your aptitude and reasoning exams. AB is equal to CD. Then what is equal to BA? What is BA? It is DC. So like that, you will have tougher questions over there. If you do only simple things, then you will not develop your cognition. Okay, so you have to engage in challenging tasks, then only you will enjoy learning. So let us conclude. So you learn English for the love of the language and not for exam. If you learn for exam, it will be of no use. You have to have English along with you for your lifetime. So it is part of your life. You have to learn language for the love of the language. You do not blame anyone. Take your own responsibility. Don't tell that the teacher did not teach properly. I didn't have textbooks. I didn't have proper resources. So all these will not work. Do not self-pity also. I have seen many students, they say that they come from rural background. They have learned in their mother tongue. They know Telugu, but they are not able to learn English. English is very tough. So we cannot compete with other people coming from urban areas. So there is no such thing at all. Simple thing is that you have to have the determination. You have to have the willpower. You should be strong, and then you have to go ahead, learn the language, acquire skills in English language. So to acquire skills, what you have to do, you have to keep your eyes open, your ears open, your mind open, and capture everything that surrounds you in English. So let us end with this. Not knowing is not a sin. You don't know. That is nothing. That is not a problem. But not wanting to know is a sin. Not wanting to know in the sense, oh, I am very scared of English. I don't want to learn English. I will learn my mother tongue only. I will learn the subjects, and during the exam time I will somehow memorize and then pass the exam. So that is not the policy here. That will not work here. No single person knows everything. So everyone has to learn, everyone has to update themselves, then only they will acquire knowledge and move on. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you, students. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed the session and you gained a lot of information from this. Thanks for that.